Hi everyone, my name is Vlada and today I'm going to speak about the assemblage point, the concept of Carlos Castaneda, and there will be several points I will highlight throughout this video. First, I will say what is the assemblage point, like how can you identify and just understand what Carlos Castaneda meant, in my personal opinion. Then the second one concerns the movement of the assemblage point and also the concept of heightened awareness, and then finally we'll speak how can we shift the assemblage point and, well, what I personally do to move it. Speaking of the assemblage point, I will quote Castaneda from his first book, The Teachings of Don Juan. And by the way, I just wanted to say that I have read that book around 10 years ago, and then I have read The Journey to Ixtlan like very recently, and currently I'm reading The Power of Silence. However, I have not read even probably 1/3 of it, so I'm still in the process, and I realize that I don't know a lot about the concepts, so I'm just sharing my opinion, what I think currently. So let's quote. He also said that the old seers discovered that the assemblage point is not in the physical body, but in the luminous shell, in the cocoon itself. The Nagual identifies that spot by its intense luminosity and pushes it rather than striking it. The force of the push creates a dent in the cocoon, and it is felt like a blow to the right shoulder blade, a blow that knocks all the air out of the lungs. So here we see that Castaneda says that every person has a cocoon that in the correct position, so to say, of your assemblage point, you can see that cocoon. And in that cocoon there is a hole throughout which energy can be led, so to say, and depending on its position, you can see the world from a different perspective. The thing is that depending on the position of the assemblage point, you can either be, so to say, a human, you will have a human form, either you can become anything else, like a bird, as he mentioned throughout his books, that some Naguals were all of a sudden turning into some animals. So it is possible if you move the assemblage point. And then he also says that when it is changed, there is a special force that creates a dent in the cocoon, and it is felt like a blow. So it is believed that to a certain extent you can feel when the assemblage point is moved. However, I think we should also mention the situation which happened in The Power of Silence, which I'm reading currently. It is Vicente Medrano, Silvio Manuel, and also Carlos Castaneda himself and Don Juan. And in that episode we see that Carlos Castaneda was tied to a column because they decided to test him, like what type of stalking would be, so to say, easier for him, whether he had any of the 4 qualities. If you haven't read, go on and read. And I will proceed quoting Carlos. And here Don Juan says that sorcerers have a rule of thumb. They say that the deeper the assemblage point moves, the greater the feeling that one has knowledge and no words to explain it. Sometimes the assemblage point of average persons can move without a known cause, and without them being aware of it, except that they become tongue-tied, confused, and evasive. This is the first one, and he also highlights that the heightened awareness is the portal to intent. Here we have several points. First, in my opinion, as I understand it, the heightened awareness is such a position of your assemblage point where you can see the world a little bit different, and that is why you can experience these tongue-tied, confused, and evasive symptoms, so to say. So it is so different that you cannot comprehend what is going on. In my personal experience, I have probably experienced something like that when, for example, 2 days ago, I was walking down the street and I realized that everything felt very, very weird. You know, it is as if there is a demiurge, God, whatever, and he, after you sleep, he has to choose to which universe you should go again, like, like a reset. And I felt it as if he had made a mistake and instead of putting me to universe A, he put me into universe B, and these were kind of similar, but you know, something was different. And that is why I felt as if I was in some sort of simulation. It was really weird because I thought that, not thought, but I felt everything as if all the people I met on the streets were really different, as if I have never seen any of them. Though I live in the same place for over a year, I more or less know how people look among those who live here, and I can see some familiar faces at least. And that day I felt as if everything was changed, and just generally deep inside down you felt that something is wrong. And usually I already know that if I feel that something is wrong, probably everything is alright and I'm just some kind of overthinking or over feeling, I would say. And I think that maybe this really means that I was in the heightened awareness, for example, because I was seeing the world from a little bit different perspective. But well, who knows, maybe not, maybe I was just sleeping not enough, and that is why I felt such things. Then let's proceed to some other quotes. Here Don Juan also says that thinking and saying exactly what you want to say requires untold amounts of energy. And then he highlights that knowledge could not be turned into words because the knowledge was there for everyone. It was there to be felt, to be used, but not to be explained. And I'm pretty sure you have experienced this as well, when you think that, yeah, I just realized that some thought I always believed to be true all of a sudden turned out to be totally absurd. However, you feel as if you almost reached with a touch of your hand that thought, that new realization. However, is impossible because it as if just 1 centimeter is separating you from that realization. However, you cannot grasp it. And then he also says that a nice thing I like, that you need that energy in order to comprehend that idea, in order to turn it into words. That is why you need that energy. And in my previous videos I have said why energy is so important, because if you don't have it, you simply cannot go on in your journey to self-awareness, so to say. So everything becomes quite useless because you're just not living, but like, probably living, but without feeling anything, without realizing anything, because you're in the constant circle of some tasks that actually have usually no sense. And you don't have the time to reflect on something and to come to a new realization, to understand yourself better. So this is why you need energy, just to break that circle and start grasping the information that lies just right here, and all you need is some energy. That's it. Then I will proceed quoting him, because this whole episode I think is golden, to be honest. And okay. He says that we all have the chains, the secret of our chains, that they imprison us, but by keeping us pinned down on our comfortable spot of self-reflection, they defend us from onslaughts of the unknown. And once our chains are cut, we are no longer bound by the concerns of the daily world. We are still in the daily world, but we don't belong there anymore. In order to belong, we must share the concerns of people, and without chains, we can't. And this, just all of it in conjunction here, once again reassures that we need to save our energy. And probably yesterday or just a few days ago, I have come to an idea that, you know, every day you wake up and you have a pot of water and it is completely full, and throughout the day you're like going somewhere, and it is not like an asphalt road. It is somewhere in the desert, for example, where you can become thirsty because it's too hot, and you have only one pot of water, and it is up to you how you, so to say, dissolve this water, how you divide it. Because for instance, you will meet some people throughout your road to somewhere, like the journey to Ixtlan, haha. And sometimes you will meet people and they will want to drink your water, and it will be up to you whether you will give it to them, whether you will give to them your energy or not, whether you will drink it yourself. And throughout the day we are constantly making decisions how will we spend that water. And by the end of the day, it's again only our own responsibility how we decide the fortune of that amount of water / energy. So here again he just reassures that yeah, we have daily concerns of people that chain us to the comfortable spot where you can say like, yeah, okay, I have a typical job that consumes me completely. I'm very busy, I need to work, nothing else, no time to reflect, I'm so sad, I'm so depressed. There is nothing I can do about it, so I will simply suffer and just ignore everything around me because I have to work, for example. Of course, every situation is individual totally, and it is not up to me to decide how bad something is, for example. However, I believe that we always have some time to decide how we spend our energy, even if we have a very consuming job, even if we have a family of 5-10 people that also need our energy, need our time, need our attention. It is still up to us to decide what do we do with that. So I think we can proceed to the final point of this video. It is how do we shift our assemblage point. And in my personal experience, I have realized while talking to my dad, we have discussed this thing, and there are two main ideas here. First, you can read some useless mantras that simply can consume your mind, make it busy, and they will simply occupy it. So please don't go into some beliefs that these mantras have some special significance, for example. It is just a set of words that you will repeat in order to stop that flow of your mind that simply consumes and you cannot think of anything else because you are simply overthinking. So just some really weird mantras. The weirdest the better, because you won't make any sense of these words, and that is why your mind will be like shocked and he will say like, hey, what is going on here? Please stop. And by that it will stop itself. Probably, at least it works for me. And the other way is to try to do something very different from the things you do throughout the day. For example, if throughout the day you were only looking at your laptop because you were doing your work too good because you wanted to gain the respect of your boss, for example, just an example, then if you have the chance, I don't know, go outside. Just you need the change of scenery, and the greatest the change is, the better, because your mind will again be quite shocked, like, hey, what is going on here? Please explain it to me, and the flow will stop. So the main idea is just do something that will stop the flow of your mind, and by that it will let you change the perspective on some events, for example. And this is just the beginning, but usually it is also in conjunction with the topic of saving your energy, because if you do not have that energy, it will be quite difficult to come to some new realizations, for example, or to have just the possibility to look at the situation differently, because usually we are stuck at one thing and we don't have any sources to comprehend something. So I think these are the main three ideas, and hope you found something new about it. And just remember that the assemblage point is your own perspective on the current world, because you know that sometimes we are very happy, sometimes we are very sad, sometimes we are angry at everything, and every situation means that you have a specific, that your assemblage point is a specific position, and nothing very unusual, nothing really extremely. I think that everything is quite simple. And then you now know how to at least attempt to, how you can try to move your assemblage point. If it works, please tell me, because we are always in this ongoing process of learning, and I'm also just on the very beginning of all of these things. So please just say some things in the comments down below. I will be really happy to discuss it with you, because currently it is just a monologue and it is quite nice, but not really, because I would like to get into some interaction, to discussions with you. So please feel free, and just have a nice day, weekend, whatever. Have a good life and save your energy. Bye.